So in a positively shocking turn of events, the new owners of the Mirage, the Hard Rock and the Seminole Tribe, announced today that on July 17th, this property is closing forever. I mean, we all thought that they would do something like maybe just phase in the Hard Rock brand when they purchased this property years ago, and they mentioned that they would keep it open while they figured out what they were going to do. But I don't think that anybody expected for the tribe and the owners to basically pull the plug on the property. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the closure of the Mirage coming up here on July 17th, what it means to the Strip to have two major iconic properties closed here in Vegas in the very same year, what's going to happen to the employees. That part will really surprise you because some of those employees are going to cash out a tremendous amount. I don't know if there's an upper limit, as well as what it might mean for the overall Vegas economy. The fact that they're not going to try to grind through the closure and keep things open. My name is Steven. I'm not leaving Las Vegas. This is a deep dive into what it really means to have the Mirage Hotel and Casino actually close out here in town. So as we're walking out here, you're going to see the news big time. There's two news reporters doing their 5 o'clock reports on the Mirage. So let's get you up to speed a little bit so you'll understand what's at play. This property, the Mirage, opened up 1989, I believe it was.
All eyes were focused on Wynn's Inn, the sprawling 3,000-room fantasy island that now dominates the Las Vegas Strip. The $620 million mega resort is the first built in Las Vegas in 15 years. It commands attention. Today, it got it.
A little bit out of this world. It is a Mirage, that's for sure. They named it right.
While Mirage executives are anxious to show off the place, they wouldn't allow cameras on the inside. This video was supplied by the hotel. Among the novelties, a 20,000-gallon fish tank behind the registration desk. At a cost of $1.2 million, it bubbles with shark and other tropical aquatic life.
I like the grounds and what they had inside as far as their plants and everything, the atrium. It's beautiful, the waterfall and stuff. And
the South Seas theme continues inside with the lush atrium that towers 90 feet above the hotel floor. Filled with palms and waterfalls, a computerized misting system keeps the tropical plants properly watered.
Fabulous. Really it is. It's real nice. I like it. I'll be back.
Animal life flourishes too. This white tiger habitat houses the rare exotic animals used in the Siegfried and Roy show. The famed illusionists open the showroom next month, but the tigers are already getting a feel for the place.
In the long run for Las Vegas, for the future, this is just a stepping stone right here for this hotel to do what it's done for the Las Vegas Strip.
Expect to see a lot of this. It's the Mirage logo. Here, though, the more pronounced logo, the trademark volcano. It's live, erupting every few minutes, spewing smoke and fire 100 feet into the air.
I think Elvis would be very proud of this place, and I think that this is one of the best I've ever seen in Las Vegas. I think that he's going to bring the best entertainment here, I understand, and give all the hotels one for the money.
It was Steve Wynn's first big foray off of the downtown Fremont Street experience, and it was the first mega resort in existence, really. This place needed to make $1 million a day just to keep its doors open. Risky junk bonds were taken out from Wall Street, the first time Wall Street ever had anything to do with the casino property in Vegas. This property was the first mega resort with over, I think, 4,000 rooms and encompassing everything you need on property. So for the first time, you wouldn't have to go anywhere if you wanted a luxury spa, a high-end production number show, the world's best restaurants, high roller suites, high roller gaming, and just the best experience you could find in town. And that ushered in an era of modern day Vegas with all these behemoths and giants behind us. But that all comes to an end on July 17th. So what does that mean for you? And of course the people here, and why is it really happening? Before I cover that, I just want to point out, this also will definitely close down the giant volcano show, which has been running since the property opened. This volcano show, in an era where there was no internet, no social media, and certainly no smartphones to instantly share, was Steve Wynn's way of guaranteeing publicity for this hotel. It brought in an era of Vegas where we had the Bellagio fountains, the sirens at Treasure Island, and the big pirate show out front, and other big spectacles in front of the casino properties to make Vegas what it is today. So just another pioneering thing. So the volcano goes off, at 8, 9, 10, and 11 p.m., presumably through the 17th. So make sure you see it as well soon. So I guess the big question is why and how did we get here? Back in 2021, 2022, rumors were starting to emerge that MGM Resorts International, the former owners of the Mirage, wanted to sell the property. They were looking to sell a lot of their properties in Vegas, but this one they wanted out of entirely. The Seminole tribe out of Florida owned the Hard Rock brand and was deep in the midst of expanding the brand before the COVID-19 shutdown. So they took the bait and purchased the property and promised that they would retheme it as the Hard Rock. One of the biggest things and the biggest slaps in the face that people don't like about this move of retheming this to the Hard Rock is the loss of this volcano that we were just telling you about in the previous segment. The volcano is going to be replaced, and in its place will be a massive 50-story plus tower in the shape of a guitar, which some people say is progress, but a lot of people say is just a little bit of a death of an era in Vegas. So the Seminoles decided to retheme the property, but they weren't exactly upfront with how they would do it. They kept a lot of us in the dark. What did they say exactly? Well, that part was a little ambiguous. Let me explain. See that when I told you it was a big deal? We have no less than 3 news stations reporting on this right now. So when the Seminoles took over, like I mentioned, they said that they would be looking at their options and keeping the property open while it was being redeveloped. But I don't think anybody expected them to just cut the cord entirely on July 17th of 2024. The crazy part is they're going to be closing this place for 3 years, opening up in July of 2027 as the new Hard Rock Hotel Casino. Now, this could tell us many things about what's really happening on the property and what the mindset is of this massive new casino owner that wants to make their mark on the Strip. And none of those things are really good, and we'll get to those things in a minute. But the biggest victims here have to be the employees over here at the Mirage, because they're going to be losing their jobs. So what's happening to them? Well, there's actually a bit of a silver lining, and it looks like the Seminole tribe is taking steps to make sure that they don't fall completely flat-footed on their faces here in town. Let me explain that. And so according to reports coming out from the new ownership group, there's about 3,000 plus people that are currently employed here at the property itself. And of those, close to 150, I want to say, are actually day one employees. That's a long time to be working at a singular place, being that this place opened in 1989, so they've seen a lot. So what happens with them? Well, first things first, there are agreements in place to take care of them in a surprising and somewhat shocking financial way, which we'll get to in a sec. But it looks like the new owners are cooperating with other properties here in town on the Strip and holding private job fairs in the resort itself, where these companies can come out and these employees can connect with potential new work opportunities here in town. They're not going to get their seniority if they've been here for 10, 15, 20, or 34 years, but it'll give them an opportunity to stay in the gaming business. And the good thing about this is that right now, there is a big gap in the labor pool in Las Vegas, in Nevada. So these people will find work, but they may not want to work. And that's the crazy thing about it. You see, they're all getting a windfall. And I'll tell you, it's not a little one. By the way, one of the nicest parts about this is the fact that there's running water out here in front of this property. This water smells great, it feels a lot cooler, and with new water restrictions that went into effect last year or the year before, none of this water is going to exist when they reopen back up with the giant guitar, because there's no new water features allowed. So let's say goodbye to all of the water in front of the Mirage, and I'm going to miss it. Are you going to miss the water? Let me know. And now I want to take a chance to remind you that if you don't subscribe right now to this video and this channel, I'm going to miss you in upcoming videos, and you're going to miss all the news and all of these little reports from the Las Vegas Strip. So go ahead and subscribe. It would mean the world to me. Let me know I'm doing a good job without you having to pay a penny or make a donation. It's free to do, and I think I have a pretty cool channel, so go ahead and sub. Of course, you know, there's other things that this place was really famous for. How about reuniting the Beatles? Kind of, sort of. The Beatles' Love opened here 20 plus years ago here in Vegas, bringing together the Fab Four and reimagining what Cirque du Soleil could possibly be. Of course, that's gone too, with final performances happening in July. And thank you so much to a friend of the channel who remains anonymous for getting my wife and I to the show coming up. So subscribe for that, because we're going to tell you about that experience right here at the Mirage. So the employees are getting the shaft because the property is closing down for 3 years. There is some good news, and the silver lining to that is that because of a deal that the Culinary Union, one of the most powerful union bodies in the United States, if not North America, put together last year, yeah, these employees are entitled to a $2,000 bonus once they leave after the closure for every single year that they stayed at the property. Just do some math. If somebody was here for 20 years, they're getting $40,000. If somebody was here for 34 years, they're entitled to a $68,000 windfall. So that might help pad that loving feeling that's gone, to coin a rock and roll term here. But it's not going to account for the fact that whatever property they go to in the future, if they stay here in Vegas in the hospitality industry, they're not going to be getting the same seniority and benefits and pay scale. The good news is for these employees that once they do get hired back to the property, they are entitled under that same agreement signed by Culinary to resume their seniority, their status, and their position if they choose to do so once the property reopens as the Hard Rock in 3 years' time. That is such a long time. Look at how beautiful these are. I can't even tell you. Again, all this water, it's going to be gone, and it just is a bummer. Hopefully you're not going to be gone and you've subscribed as we talk about what the greater impact for this is and what nobody's telling you, and what is the real subtext and context of the fact that they're deciding to close this as opposed to just keep it rolling. And why is it going to take so long? That's a mystery too. More ways, by the way, that this property changed entertainment. Not just giving the world Beatles love, like the first licensed music Cirque du Soleil show, which went on to spawn the likes of Michael Jackson and his world tour with Cirque that went on. It was Siegfried and Roy. Above all else, Siegfried and Roy put on a production number with exotic cats like nobody had ever seen before. Not to mention the fact that this property here was featured in movies like Rain Man. It became a pop culture phenomenon back in the day. It was the preeminent place to go. So then, what's the preeminent place to go going to look like, and why are they closing it for 3 years? So the bigger underlying context here that I don't think anybody's talking about is the market. It's the economy, and it's the fact that money costs a lot to borrow. And people have been waiting for interest rates to go down a long time. Now, the fact that this property is going to be closed for 3 years for this renovation, whereas I believe the Virgin Hotel, which transformed itself from the old Hard Rock, was only closed for about 2. That was during COVID shutdown, mind you. I think it says a lot about what the current state of the Vegas marketplace is. Let me explain. You see, in the case of a big property like this, you're not spending your own money on renovations. You're actually having to borrow money in order to get the job done. You borrow it at an interest rate and hopefully can make more than the interest rate to pay back the money over time. And with current prime interest rates as high as they are, it may be a challenge to borrow money in the entire amount to do it in a quick fashion. Or it just could be that they don't have confidence in the actual economy out here in Vegas as much as all of you guys see all of these people here in town enjoying themselves. Well, the truth to that is a lot harder to swallow than a lot of people who watch the Vegas economy would like to admit. The truth is, the Vegas economy is missing beats here and there. The economy in town is only as good as the expendable income that people have, and even though interest rates are high, a lot of people have been depleting their coffers over time, their savings, their credit cards, and maximizing things in order to take vacations and spend money where they want. And for a lot of people, that's nearing its limit. You gotta love the fact that these geese are here. There's also ducks. I hate to think where they're gonna go when all of this goes away. There's not gonna be much water left, and I guess they'll have to go to the wetlands. And if you don't know, that's about 6 miles away from here on the east side of town. A giant torrential river in the middle of the desert. It's really rad. You should see it when you come. So about that economy here in town. See, Caesars missed a beat. They didn't have very good earnings for Q1. Their CEO even admitting that it's a major problem for them. In addition to that, those quarter after quarter gaming gains, those are kind of drying up. So it could just be a fact that the owners of the Mirage turning it into the Hard Rock, they want to see how things are going to come out on the other side. They may not think it's worth it from an economic standpoint to lose too much money if the economy is going to slow down, especially towards the presidential election coming, and that just happens in every election cycle. So it may cost them more money to stay open during renovations than it does to just shut the entire thing down and put their money-making machine, aka the casino, on pause. And I hope you've hit the button, not the pause button, and subscribed and liked this video while we're chatting through it. But I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that. Do you think the economy in Vegas is bulletproof forever? Or do you think there might be something to what I'm saying? I'm just asking questions and making some thoughts happen for you. We're gonna have plenty more video time in the Mirage. I'm gonna take this same camera I'm talking to you on into the Mirage and do a fantastic and amazing tribute to this iconic Vegas property in 4K, 60 frames per second. So be sure to subscribe for that video coming up very soon. And as we walk out here and share our thoughts, I want to hear your memories of the Mirage in the comments below. If you made it this far in the video, you may as well subscribe to the channel by now, because it turns out you must really like the content if you were into it for this long. I ask you, why do you think the Mirage is closing for 3 years? Why didn't they decide to remain open? The building itself, the casino floor, and everything inside is perfectly serviceable. Is it the economy? And what do you think about those people who are working at this property getting $2,000 a year, which is the upside for every year they've been here, but then again, having to start over at another property? What's your take on that? Once again, my name is Steven, and I'm not leaving Las Vegas, coming to you from the Las Vegas Strip, where the Mirage has got a limited life, and you better come and see it if you haven't seen it already. Now's the time of the video where I say 3, 2, 1, click. Are you ready? We go 3, 2, 1, and click.